Hey guys, it's MacKenzie Bourg, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
Since we're in the studio, let's talk about this new material that you're working on right now.
Yeah, it's it's kind of just like the way my sound has kind of been moving. It's away from kind of like the full just acoustic guitar and myself, and more of kind of like an indie kind of pop feel to it.
Right. Now, is this like a transition that just happened naturally for you, or is that something that you've been like trying to work your way through?
Yeah, it's definitely like a growing process. There's growing pains through it. You have to kind of get away from everything that you were comfortable with and kind of, try new things.
Right.
So it's been good.
Now, your fans are familiar with Little Moon. That's the most recent single that you've dropped. How different will the new material be from Little Moon?
Little Moon's a good kind of like a jump off point. It's got, some cool like vocal samples, and it really kind of, I think it's a great transition into, what this stuff is really going to be.
Right. And I know you have like experience on the piano as well. Can we expect maybe some kind of like piano ballads on this new material, or do you want to focus more on your acoustic guitar?
No, yeah, I'm definitely. There's actually a song I wrote that was all piano. So it's whether or not it comes out on the record all piano or not is to not up to me fully. But yeah, there's definitely some piano songs.
Now, what is that like for you when you start a song, or how different is that for you when you start a song with a piano or when you start a song with an acoustic?
Well, for me, it's like I'm not as, I guess, fluent, if you will, on the piano as I am on the guitar. So it's kind of almost like brings a different element, a different vibe to it with the piano for me, because it's so much. It's more about the emotion and the raw, genuine feeling of a song rather than, the guitar. It gets technical and stuff like that.
Right. Now, this time around, like you've already had a few singles out before. So where do you see your writing like growing? How do you see it growing within these last couple like releases?
Yeah, now just going from before, it was like I kind of went to make the best songs I thought would be, and I didn't really think about like how they would kind of shape my like image and shape my direction as an artist. So now it's kind of like I'm putting all the pieces together, and it's really coming along great.
Are there any like specific things that you are still trying to figure out when you're in the studio, either stuff that your producer might tell you to try, or like just trying new like riffs on the guitar, maybe, for example?
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like a thing where it's like, obviously, like the most comfortable for me is just the guitar and myself. So it's interesting. It's like to try different things that make a song more like pop, make it sound friendly for the radio, because that's obviously the end goal, is to have these songs all over the radio. So it's great to kind of find that balance, and it's kind of like the beauty of the process.
Yeah. Now tell me a little bit more about the producer that you're working with on this whatever it is, EP, album, I don't know, it's a surprise. But this body of work, what is it about this producer that you wanted to jump into the studio with him?
Yeah, I mean, SR, this is really my first time being in with SR, and in the past 5 hours that we've been in here, I mean, he's already shown me some pretty cool stuff that, it's kind of like when we had meetings and sat down and talked about the direction of everything. It was kind of, scary to me to kind of think of a world where it's, pushing more into that pop realm and kind of, branching out into like being, edgy and cool. It's like, I wear glasses. I don't know how cool it could get, but it's great to have someone like SR that's kind of, taken those concepts and ideas that I have and worked with me to make it really fit me. Yeah.
Now, when you come into the studio with him, for example, obviously you come in with material already written, I would assume. No, or have you been writing with him as well?
Yeah, no, I've been writing with him as well. The one we're doing now is something we're just kind of piecing together, and it just depends on the situation. Sometimes I'll just be sitting in my room and write a song that is great and come into the studio and record it, but it doesn't always happen like that.
Right. Now, with this body of work, is this your first time working with a producer, or have you worked with a producer before?
Oh yeah, I've definitely worked with producers before. This is kind of like the it's kind of like the least, I guess, of my direct influence. It's kind of like it's really taking. The last 2 or 3 songs I've recorded have been with producers that had something to offer. They're like huge producers, big producers that have done some cool songs, and it's interesting to kind of take what they have to offer and spin it to fit you as well.
Right. And as you're mentioning your transition with this new material, more into the pop world, let's talk about transitioning from American Idol, for example. Because coming into that, I'm sure you weren't as experienced when it came to performing in front of a big audience, especially on TV. So how much did American Idol really affect you as an artist?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely affected me. I think just it made me a lot more comfortable, you know, in a lot of situations musically performing, whether it be, you know, in front of, you know, 6 people that could really, you know, make or break and change your future, or, you know, for, you know, a crowd of, you know, 5,000-6,000 people.
Has that been the most challenging thing that you've done to date? Like being on American Idol, knowing that so many people are like, I mean, all these people are either voting for you or not.
It's weird for me. It's kind of like the hardest part for me was that first, you know, the first one with just 3 of them in the room.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you know, you build up and you really work so hard and you want to make it through, you know, to that, you know, and at that point I remember being so nervous and like, just like, I'd be like, oh God, like I'm not like, and of course, you know, it's like, it worked out great, you know, as I felt like it was like there was like 50 people left, 20 people left, 15, 10, 5, and it was just like I was just like less nervous when there was 5 than there was when there was, you know, thousands of people.
Right.
You know, but it was great.
Now, as you're about to, well, I don't know if you're releasing anything anytime soon, but as you're working with this new material, what else can fans expect from you within the next couple months?
Yeah, no, I think that's the plan, to at least have the single that kind of pushes out the you know, the album or EP, whatever we, you know, do decide, within the next few months. So
do you see any like shows coming up anytime soon?
Yeah, I can't speak, you know, exactly about it, but there's, you know, there's a potential kind of tour in the works for the summer that we got kind of presented with, and it's a really cool opportunity.
Right. Now, for those that have never heard of MacKenzie before, like why should people go ahead and listen to this new material?
Oh, that's a good question. It'll be free on Spotify. You can click it on Spotify. But no, it's really just I like to kind of pride myself in being genuine and not really doing anything I don't feel. So it'll probably be one of the more, you know, honest and genuine, you know, records you could listen to.